All right, gentlemen. So let's just begin with
Batman.
Guess.
Stay within the lines, Batman.
I was going to paint this with. I was going to crayon this with black, but of course, in Hush, Batman is blue.
Yeah.
He's got little undies as well.
little undies.
Yep.
Do you want a darker blue, Jason?
For the undies?
No, well,
I think you should have red undies.
since you're going blue, I thought it.
Well, we're
So he's
going blue.
getting into it. He's in character coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need one more color, which is.
I feel like coloring is good something we do in Arkham Asylum anyways.
Totally.
It's like, it's coloring time. You guys can have stickers. You guys can do this. No sharp objects, but everything else is nice.
The Joker's escaped because he turned his crayon into a ship.
Right. No one talks about the Joker's art is my issue, right?
Right.
That's really that's the good side of him too. We need to talk about his art.
Gordon is using green for envy.
Started out as a painter.
So, gentlemen, I guess if Bonnie could just tell me, what could we expect from Hush? Just the story alone. Like, what is this new iteration going to give us?
Excitement, romance,
Yeah.
and some cool twists.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And yeah, some cool twists.
Very
And
cool.
there's a very big cast to this too. So there's an expanded world when it comes to Hush
Because there's
too,
like a
so-
Cecil B. DeMille kind of cast of thousands.
Yeah.
What is it about Hush that he's someone who needs this pantheon to be around to conflict against him? I guess.
He's a master manipulator. I don't know. I don't do his voice. What is he?
Yeah, he's like, I think part of his history is actually his mom sent him to a military strategy class. Like the weird relationship in that whole history he had with his mom of like sent him to learn how to do, or he wanted to learn so he could battle his drunk father. So he actually is a tactician in that sense, and I think likes the challenge of.
So I could have grown up to be Hush.
You could have grown up Hush. Oh my
That's
god.
that's
Wait.
my.
Do you have the tactician talent?
I was trained. I don't have the tactician part, but I've got the other part. That's brutal, isn't it?
Now, let's talk about one of the things I always like to talk about is, the darkness of this world, because that's one of the things that we've gotten darker in, but it's become more gritty and real. So what can we expect in this film?
Well, Jim Lee in the afterword to Batman Hush said, I look back on my work and the illustrations themselves got darker. My work evolved and changed throughout drawing this thing, and question whether he should go back and clean it up so that it all looked the same, So the beginning literally looks like the end. And I think Jeff Loeb and his colorist and some other people involved in the novel, or it was 12 issues at the time, said no, leave it. It should get darker. The features of Batman's face should get more angular, as to reflect the journey he's gone on and this sort of inner conflict he's had to face. Elements from his childhood and his worst fears. And his back's against the wall in this. So I love that idea that Jim Lee's art evolves and that the movies themselves have evolved and have got darker, and this film itself kind of gets darker as it goes along.
And that's something to ask too, because you've done voices in many different versions of these movies as well. So do you tactically look at it to give yourself that what level of grittiness, what level of positivity am I in this film? I mean, do you guys kind of get into ahead of time, or is that something where you just deliver the character as a whole?
Oh, it depends what the character's going through. I think any actor would agree. It depends what the character's feeling in the moment, that dictates any kind of a choice.
Absolutely. I mean, Gordon's always just baffled by the whole mess.
Yeah.
He just can't get any sort of semblance of sanity going in Gotham. So he's pretty consistent.
Don't you think it's a little weird that like it's gone through so long, he hasn't just learned to be like, you know what, just go with it, bro. We're just going with it. We're gonna see what happens at the end. We'll figure it out.
No, but he always cares. He always cares a little too much. That's why his mustache keeps getting grayer and grayer.
He's like Obama second term.
Yeah.
This is tough.
That's
Tougher than I.
let's get to the political side of Batman.
Yeah, totally. Riddler's a stable genius. Yeah, there's like such a history to playing these characters. It's hard, especially growing up on them and growing up on the animated series, to not respect what has come before. So like, part of like acting them, you want to come to it with your own original take, but it's hard to let go of that respect of like what has come before.
Yeah.
And Glover did such an amazing job that I could never get it out of my head.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find some way to like bring that in just a little bit, because he was so fantastic. And there's such a history of different takes on them.
Right.
That it's what do the fans want too.
Right.
But there's also a range, like when you're listening to, when it's the Riddler, when it's Gordon, when it's Batman or not. Like there's not a
They have clear boundaries.
there are for sure. Yeah. But within those boundaries, you can play. You can find those
colors.
And that's where a good directing team, creative team helps too. Because I think you step into they've got an idea of kind of the parameters of the world too. So that kind of can guide you a little bit. It's sort of like, no, this is the world we're making. And
That's always the initial discussion. It's always, well, in this one, we're going to go. And so that's from the director, that's from the team, and that sets you right on. That sets your imagination going and your mind reeling.
Yeah.
Within those, they set the boundaries. This is the world we're going for in this one, because they're all a little bit different.
Totally.
Do you ever think about the echoes of things in the sense that sometimes we do specific voices or specific things because of someone who created our atmosphere of that first person, whether it was the Keaton's Batman or the Christian Bale Batman, or you go back to Batman Beyond and these comics that this is the way this Batman or this Joker sounded to some people for the first time. So because of the 60s Batman, it's just this Joker, that's who we are and that's who I am now too. So do you guys ever think about those echoes of these characters and how it's the echo of that person, that first actor's kind of thought sometimes? Because before that, like you said, it was on this. It was paper. So it was the voice in someone's head until it became a voice out in the air.
But I think there's a universality to that voice. Like when you see Joker and with his big mouth and the ha 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 coming out of it, you have an idea what's gonna be coming out of his mouth. Yeah. And I think there has been, well, the Joaquin Phoenix movie might be a departure from that, but I think there has been like many commonalities, whenever someone's approached that role.
Yeah, you never really have a high-voiced Batman. You never have like
Where's the falsetto man?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You never
To the Batcave!
To the Batcave!
Robin, get your shit together.
Cower in fear, evildoers.
Why did Charles Nelson Riley never get his Batman shot?
You guys have never been to Times Square in New York, because I've seen that show.
See, that was the one that didn't work before Spider-Man Broadway show didn't work. It was just these kind of followed each other. So.
But actually, Nightwing's kind of interesting because Nightwing, I don't know, Nightwing does have quite a variety, and because he hasn't been indelibly created on screen,
Yeah.
Who's Nightwing?
I don't know how to explain this to you in a kind way.
I love your Catwoman.
This one or the one I voiced?
This is the one you're supposed to be.
Got it.
No, you don't. You know what? You don't have to do anything.
He's cool.
It's
He's
true.
cool.
Nightwing is an interesting character because he's like Batman with hope still. He hasn't given up. He's like if Batman still could fall in love in a real way that wasn't dark and
Weird.
Doesn't have the missing parents and all the money to kind of
Totally.
suggest back reality.
Yeah, he can still meet a friend for a movie somewhere when he's not doing Nightwing. Yeah.
Do you like how we're talking about your character?
Actually, let's start.
He's awfully quiet over there.
So you guys go and just kind of explain, who you are.
He gets bullied a
We
lot.
didn't actually go over that too for the people.
I'm Nightwing.
Yeah? Yes.
Yeah.
And Catwoman on a good
On a good day. All right. Move on to the next person, I guess.
Who's this guy?
Who do you play?
Oh yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne. Also, AKA Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman.
I'm a Riddler.
Yeah.
Edward Enigma. Yeah, that's who I am.
But you're currently coloring.
I'm coloring the Joker, Batman. Oh man, Mark Hamill.
And
That's the thing. Like, Mark
The
Hamill was
best.
your Joker in your
It's
voice.
the best.
Yes.
It
It's
wasn't
like
Caesar.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you didn't say Caesar. You didn't say anything.
no,
like-
but you know Caesar's in Mark Hamill.
Right. And
You
that's
know.
what I'm saying, the echoes.
You know,
Yeah.
it
and
does
I
echo,
was
yeah.
watching Gorshin to try to. I was trying to put a little bit of everything.
Throwback in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I am Commissioner Jim Gordon.
I'm Thomas Elliot and the voice of Hush.
The voice of
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Well, I want to thank you because this is one of those things where you, you know, like I've said before, but you are in the same way we just kind of talked about. You are someone's voice in their head when it comes to this, like to the point where they probably pick up a comic and your voice is in their head now too. So there's headspace you guys now own because of this world too. So do you guys have, you know, when you start down this road, do you take an ownership of this character now after you do it more than once or even just once, you know?
I don't think you ever take ownership.
Yeah.
The characters are greater than any single actor. The
Yeah.
characters will live forever.
And just when you take ownership, they'll cast somebody else. Right? You start getting pretty cocky is about,
Yeah.
listen, it's been great.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Thanks for
ultimate example, though, of how to serve a character. You know,
Yeah.
as an actor, like you're serving a character that's been around long before you, or at least in my case, and will be around long after. And so, like, you come for as long as you're invited, and you do your best, and try to leave the character in a good place, and you know, you move on.
Well said.
So,
Perfect.
Now, I want to ask you guys: is there ever been a point where you see something and you want to do it? Like let's say there's a little kid there and they have the Riddler on their shirt, and you go to do the voice, you're like, and it just like freaks, or it just doesn't work out well. It doesn't connect. Where you're like, I'm the Riddler, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's fun. You know, I'm Nightwing, and he's like, well, I don't know if that's. And so it's. Have you guys had that connection? Have you done the Batman voice to someone and they're like, oh, okay, and they kind of just veer off a little bit too? Like, or is it always something where they just kind of like they automatically just reverence kind of thing too?
I don't know about reverence, but I think a lot of people think they can do like voice acting. Like,
Right.
I want to get into voice acting, and some people can, but there are
Right.
very few exceptions, and most voice actors are actors, you know. And you come through the regular way. You either train or go to college or do a course or somehow clinic, lab, theater, you know, coming up through the ranks. And like you start, you know, by playing to a tin can theater in the middle of nowhere to 3 or 4 people, and work your way up. And so, like, voice acting is just another form of acting for me. And I think it looks really easy, but you know, I was 20 years, I think, before anyone asked me to be a voice in an animated film, and it
Right.
happened to be Batman. But I was working for a good 20 years. So.
I 100% believe it. I almost think that the title should be acting voice. I mean, because of the fact that I've talked to people. I started in radio myself, and people talk about they can do those things, and I said, simply try to make a commercial yourself. Did you sell yourself that product enough where you were talking, you know, you were a dad in a commercial, just audio alone? Would you have bought that product? Would you have bought that you were that dad?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the next step, because you have to act, you have to be that, because it comes across your voice too, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things. You know,
Wait a minute, you're supposed to be believable? in
You're
these?
supposed to be believable.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, we can't CG this, unfortunately. It's gotta be you inside of this too. Is there any specific tricks to get you into your specific voices? Is there a specific time you guys have that, you know, I'm more Nightwing in the morning, or I have a Riddler ramp up that I need to kind of get to before or something? Is there?
You only record at midnight, which is a little expensive. With a little piano music, budget buster.
I find, coming from college and conservatory training and all that stuff, that seems to go out the window when you're, or for me,
Yeah.
on film and TV sets. I had to revert to like my old like voice warm-ups for some reason, because I felt like if I was not like 100% in my body resonating, I kind of couldn't do it. And I would always request a picture of him on a stand next to me, but people have asked me to do the voice, and I can't. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just following the story.
That's interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And your voices have become really iconic. Like whenever I watch one of the movies and now Nightwing comes on, I'm like, I forget that it's you every freaking time.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd probably me.
Well, what about his Selena?
I sublet to India.
Is that the same?
How about for you, gentlemen? Anything you need for ramp up to get to Riddler, or is it just he's ready, loaded, always locked in there? Kind of
It's
thing?
when you're doing fight scenes or you're doing like scenes that require a lot of like super expressive action. I feel like I need to do the same thing. I need to revert back to training to put my voice in a place where I'm not going to hurt it, because I automatically just want to go there.
Yeah.
And push. It's hard, and it's I think that's where like the training comes in. Otherwise, it's really acting, but just focusing even more. You can't rely on your face. You can't rely on anything. You got to hear your own voice and then also let go of hearing it. It's an interesting process.
I will say one more thing about it. For actors, when you're on set and you get what's called a line reading, when the director just kind of comes up and says it for you, and you're like,
Why can't you just say it like this?
Such
Yeah.
a faux pas. It's such a faux pas. You're like, oh my god, it's the most infuriating thing.
Yeah.
Although when I'm voice acting, I will welcome it, or I will ask for it. I'd be like, just tell me how to say it, because I give up a lot more. I relinquish a lot more of the process to those in the booth, because I think they can hear more than I can. So.
Also, I think like voice acting is you're not just making choices, you're giving options, because
Right.
you're not there with the other actors.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the final animation. You don't even know what size the room exactly is,
Right.
and or, how far the person away is that you're talking to. And even if they say, "Oh, you're talking right next to each other," you could come back in a year's time and actually the animation changed, the blocking changed, and the other characters further away. So it means you need to throw your voice more. So it's you want sometimes, like you're saying, Sean, when you're on set, like you're making very specific choices, and it can depend on what the other actors are giving you and the director in the script. But in voice acting, sometimes you're also just giving options. So. And you have to think of those options, what they're going to be,
Yeah.
because they could be used. Your least favorite
Right.
option or take could be the director's favorite. So you want to make sure that all of them are okay.
Yeah, I
True.
understand.
True.
The last question I have for you guys is, you came from acting, you went to voice acting, and not knowing how much preparation, how much you were going to use your voice, did you guys ever tire yourself out, like pay for it?
Oh, yeah.
Going so far, but it's the first
Sure.
time you're like, oh my god, and you're like,
Yes.
you gotta ramp back a little bit, because you need to keep something
Totally.
in the kitty for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was in one of the Gears of War games, and so that they're known for combat shouting, big time. And I pushed myself so hard in a 4-hour session, I blew out the ribbon on the microphone. The engineer said we had to change microphones. It was just full out, and I was booked to do an audiobook session the next day.
Oh my gosh.
I showed up like that. I ruined myself, and that was the last. But then you guys know Freddie Tadashore. Sure. He turned me on to this Korean elixir that we probably several of you use. It's a syrupy kind of thing to coat your vocal cords. Anyway, that helped save those kind of sessions from here on.
Hook me up later.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's the same reason why we do the fight scenes last, right?
Yeah.
So I was like,
And I kind of feel like we should have a fight scene like Bank. Like you can just give me your fight scene. This is my this is my
just
elbow strike. To
Look,
the
we're
chin.
putting number 50 and number 3 and 2, and just hit them all. Yeah, we're just gonna EDM your fight scene, and we'll put it all together.
The fight scenes, though, that's when I'm like
tell me how it sounds. Like, is it a hut or a whoop? You know?
Yeah. Because sometimes it's
You
a
know.
sequence of movies.
Oh
it's
man, it's like
Those I would not want to see myself on film because I do start getting physical with those. Like,
oh, I do
acting,
too.
You can't.
I'm like,
but sort of, yeah,
Yeah. I such a new
Ow, it's
move. Like it was like my yeah. See,
Ow.
like the fifth. It was like the fifth movie I did, and I was doing a fight scene, and I punched the lectern, and I like opened up my hand. You don't need to punch the lectern if it's voice acting. Nobody cares what's going on. You have to put a
Batman
plaster
would be
on.
bleeding right now. So am I.
No,
You
but
gotta
that was the
live it.
worst of it. Like you're playing Batman, but then they're coming out going, "Let's wrap that up." You know? Like, I'm okay. It's like, no, you really gotta. Yeah.
All right,
Just get a
Joe, well, I want
Band-Aid.
to thank you so much. Batman Hush looks amazing. It's so much fun. I'm glad you can come out here and see the fans
I'm
too.
not done.
Yo, you're not. You know,
You need this.
You need to do what you can.
I was looking for a little flesh tone.
Come on.
Well, we do what we can, unfortunately. I know you guys have to be somewhere else too, so we're just moving along where we can. But I want to thank you. It's always great to talk to voice actors. I enjoy all the work you do and the world you help create too. And thank you very much. I hope you guys had some fun. Hope you guys have more fun with the fans too. So
That's amazing.
pleasure. Thank you. Actually, if you guys can show your photos and just sign them too, just show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
Jim
The Batman
Lee.
with the boo right there. That's
Oh, that's good.